Can't fucking tell if we're live yet. It says I'm streaming. It says I'm fucking streaming. Oh, we're fucking live, baby. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm presuming because I have no subscribers or anything like that no one's watching right now. So I'm hoping that this video is going to be an archive for maybe people like you at home. But honestly, I am using this as a form of reflection for me. So I am on a weight loss journey. Asterisk. Fat loss journey. We'll talk more about that later, but it's an important distinction to make. Basically, I am changing my lifestyle. I have changed my lifestyle. And part of the changes I've made have been involving utilizing a cheat meal. And I thought, what better way to reflect on my thoughts in my health changes and the last week of my life to have this discussion over my cheat meal. So join me today while I enjoy a delicious Papa John's pepperoni, huh? We got a pepperoni, huh? But we don't just stop there, because this is a cheat meal, baby. This is a freaking cheat meal, ha ha ha. We also got the freaking garlic knots, which are fucking straight up, bro, like the most underrated fast food item like ever. This shit slaps. Garlic knots from Papa John's. Holy hell. That's like goddamn crack, bro. What else do I have? A cheat meal is not a cheat meal without a dessert. And this, oh, you guys will be loving this. This is an old chocolate bar I kept in the freezer from my last cheat day because I couldn't finish it all, and I'm probably not going to finish it all too. This was a New Zealand of origin, New Zealand chocolate bar, and the wrappers were like old school. It was about the owner, blah blah blah. So if you know this one, give me a shout. It's really good. So if you're out at the store and you see a New Zealand chocolate bar, fuck yeah, get it. That shit. That is a firm recommendation from yours truly, Punkeydoodles, motherfucker. Now, of course, we need some bevies. We need the bevies here. And I'm not really big on pop. You know, we could talk about that more later, but I like at least sugary pop. I like diet pop. So even though it's my cheat day, I'm sticking with my go-to. Oh, yep. Diet Dr. Pepper. So this is something I would have normally. The component that makes it part of my cheat meal is, of course, damn, that is overblown. Back here, if you can read that, that says wobbly pop. So, you know, infer what you will. Okay, so I'm just gonna start eating, and I know people like to watch people eating, which is, you know, no judgment. First cheat meal bite of the week. So let's just dig in, baby. I hope this is coming in real clear on the mic. Oh, I'm just fucking swallowing this shit, not even chewing. Let's crack the wobbly. Hell yeah. Okay. Now that the cheat meal's commenced, pardon me. Last week, what was my cheat meal? I think I made burgers and like buns and stuff, but I find that my cheat meals tend to revolve anything with bread. Oh, this is going to be awesome for reflection, just me chewing. This is a great idea. So I call this Munchies with Punkey because I kind of want to... Our attraction to food is an interesting thing as a species of the human monkey subgenus. we want to maximize calories as much as we possibly can. So, in terms of dieting and exercise, I've always found it unrealistic to restrict that instinct to just like go fucking bananas. I do a lot of monkey metaphors in how I view myself in the wider scheme of things, so just be forewarned. I am. So, let me know how this is for you guys. If you don't like the chewing, if you like the chewing. Presuming you're watching. Okay, what was I talking about? Monkeys. I was talking about monkeys. Okay. I go to the doctor. He says, Punkey, look at you. You're a fat, disgraced piece of garbage. You need to stop stuffing your gullet all the fucking time. Okay? I go to a trainer at the gym, and he's like, Punkey, you need to fucking commit. You can't just keep dropping out because your self-image always fucking up all the time, right? I go to the store to get clothes, and they're like, well, they don't say it, but you know, I say it to myself, where they're like, I'm like, look, Punkey, you fat piece of human garbage. You need to stop being so fucking obese all the time. And you know, sorry, in the context of being at a clothing store, in general, I have that thought. But at the clothing store, it's like, you don't fit into these jeans. You can't buy this shirt. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't go on this ride. You can't fucking sit in a movie seat at a theater. You can't, you're uncomfortable in an airplane. You know, I'm telling myself the same thing my doctor's telling me. Same thing. I don't know. It's a half mix of people being like, you need to be skinny to be accepted. And then it's me taking that seriously and saying, I cannot even accept myself until I'm skinny, right? And so I feel like that's why a lot of people, myself included, you know, resort to unfair and unhealthy approaches at how we treat food. So I come from a great and healthy, hearty tradition of binge eating, where, you know, without, because it's like you go to a doctor and they're like, you fat fuck, you need to stop, you piece of shit, look how fat you are, fuck you, your blood pressure, whatever. You don't even want to go to them for help. You go to you feel self-conscious. You don't want to ask anyone for help. So maybe you research a little, but you just use your intuition. You're like, well, I'm fat because I eat a lot of fucking food, right? So if I don't eat a lot of food for the next 2 days, but then I let myself have a big meal, you know, in 2 days, theoretically there's 6 meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner. So 2 days, that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, 6 meals. If I eliminate 5 of those meals and just have one meal that's like double or triple the size of a normal meal, theoretically, you know, I'm not going to get fat. So that's called binge eating. And I was like super into that for a long, long time. And I kept getting fatter and fatter. You know, I coupled it with binge drinking, which that's alcohol, and that's bad, and you shouldn't drink it. And there's sort of a logic there. And I'm going to marry this to the idea of our monkey brains and our desire to glut out. I eventually reached a point where I'm like, I'm still getting fat. I'm not losing fat. I want to lose fat. That's like my goal, right? And so my partner, they get me a Fitbit because I'm exercising more. I'm trying to be conscious of what I'm eating, but really only still using my intuition, not really any evidence-based thing, because I'm like too scared to look it up, you know? I don't know if anyone's in the same boat, but sometimes you don't want to face reality when you have a problem, right? You want to just ignore it and just think, I can solve this on my own. Um, so anyway, I got this Fitbit. Shout out Fitbit Corporation. I'm your poster child, baby. Hold on. Fitbit helps you do this. So anyway, with a Fitbit, I was able to find a piece of information that I never had before in my whole adult life of struggling with my body fat. The whole time I was capable, sometimes I would just ignore it because I didn't want to know the truth, to know how many calories are coming in. It wasn't until I got the Fitbit that I could kind of get a rough estimate, at least, of how many calories were going out. Okay, so I got it in my head. I can just see, I can eat whatever I want, right? It's calories in versus calories out. I should just be able to, so long as I have a calorie deficit, right? So long as I'm expending more energy than I'm taking in, I'm going to lose weight. And so I did that for 6 months, maybe a bit more. And I was pushing myself, man. Not eating disorder level. I never let it go to the point where I was restricting my calorie intake. I was perfectly... I saw this as an excuse. As I can eat whatever I want. I just need to exercise that much more. And so I was trying my hardest. And, I'm a relatively active guy. I like playing all sorts of... I'm sort of active. I don't know how you would play it. So an average day of calorie burning was 4,500 to 5,500 calories, right? And I would push that shit. Let's try 6,000. Let's try 7,000. Let's try 8,000 calories burned, right? And it doesn't matter. If I eat 4,000 calories on a day I burn 8,000, that's pretty good, theoretically. And I think there was some bullshit where it's 1 pound of body fat is 3,000 calories or some shit. And so I was using that in my head for months, and I'm not losing weight. And you know what? Maybe there's still some logic there where, so as I'm exercising more, I'm obviously strengthening my muscles. And I think muscles are 3 times heavier. A muscle cell is 3 times heavier than a fat cell. So theoretically, I could have been burning lots of fat. I'm just gaining lots of muscle. But I didn't feel like I was losing a lot of fat. I look in the mirror, and I actually got to this point where I was working my body to the point where I'm just fucking exhausted, every day, 7 days a week. There's no time off. And I felt like a failure. Every time I had a day where I was even within 1,000 calories of my deficit, I'm fuck my life. I'm such a fucking moron and a pussy. And it was just really getting to me. And so I finally talked to my doctor, which I highly, highly recommend everyone do, even if you are scared of what they're going to tell you. And I was scared. And so I go to my doctor every year. I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can do that. He knows I've been struggling. He knows I've been trying to work it out myself. My self-consciousness, I've been resistant to him. And I take some of his advice. Drinking less. Moving more. Taking jobs that are more physically active. And watching what I'm eating. Which, I tried to do. So anyway, I had, I'm not embarrassed to say, I had an emotional outburst at the doctor's office about how much I was struggling. And Buddy, he was like, hey man, I know you've been trying the physical route. You're obviously not psychologically ready enough to be able to fully commit to whatever. He was like, I know a nutritional nurse. She does the medical route. So maybe there's medicine. Did I say medical nurse? Nutritional nurse. go talk to her. I'll refer her to you, or you to her. Meet with her. Talk about your options. So I agree to do that, but the referral takes like months. I can't. She's booked up. Apparently, she's hot shit for weight loss, fat loss, which is a good sign. But I'm sitting there struggling. I'm like, what's the logic here, or what are we gonna talk about? And so now I start doing research. I'm like, what is this meeting with this nutritional nurse gonna be like? And then I start really looking into all sorts of diets, Joe Rogan shit, paleo, keto, vegan, more calorie deficit stuff. I was kind of illuminated to the fact that there are a million approaches to weight loss, and there doesn't seem to be a consolidated or a consensus, apologies, on what the best approach is, which kind of blew my mind, because the way I look at myself, I'm a monkey at a zoo, okay? Every monkey at a zoo or in the wild, they have their own personality. This guy's a little troublemaker. This guy's super serious. But they all like bananas, right? They all have hair, barring some genetic deformity or a disease. There are things and facts about monkeys that you know. So why is the mechanism for the way we metabolize body fat at any stage in life, whether you're a youth, like an infant, youth, adult, elderly, whatever, why is that just not a thing that we can measure and know? And so I began playing around. I'm like, what? No one knows. It's a fucking free for all. Everyone who says they know, they don't know. And the title of my thing is The Secrets of Fat Weight Loss. Guess what, bitch? There's no secrets to weight loss. It's all fucking horseshit. I'm going to asterisk that too. There is something that makes the most sense, and that's the strategy I'm taking, and it's sort of working, but we can talk about that a bit later. So while I'm waiting for this referral to this nutritional nurse, I start experimenting with diets. Veganism is actually one of the easiest things you could fucking do. I hear so many people just like, oh, I'm vegan, I can't do this, can't eat that, can't eat anything good or tasty. And that's like good. That like makes sense if you're like, I don't know, always trying to find the most gourmet shit from recipe books, from recipes that are like 100 years old. Like, but if we're talking about modern food, I'm like, I think Billie Eilish has said she's vegan, so the only thing she can eat are French fries and ketchup. Like, that's true. There's lots of carb-rich foods you can eat. And when I started eating a vegan lifestyle, it became pretty obvious how easy it is to just drift into stuff that is traditionally unhealthy, breads, I don't know. You could fry any carbohydrate ever, and that's fine. A vegan dinner could be rice, bread, and chickpeas and potatoes and pasta, right? Like, that could be a vegan meal, but that's like not healthy for you, right? So that didn't work out. I didn't have the self-control or the discipline, or frankly even the financial viability. There's a lot of hurdles for veganism, where you have to be creative to be vegan. You have to be willing to concede. I mean, a big thing for vegans is tofu. Two big things: tofu and mushrooms. And those are two things I just cannot eat. The texture is too much for me. I cannot do it, no matter how much I tried. So being a vegan, you have to, it's more expensive. You have to be more creative. You have to be willing to compromise with yourself. Your palate has to be willing to compromise, which, is a thing. Like, people like what they like. And, they like what they like based on routine and whatever. And if you want to try and better yourself in a physical health sense, you are going to make compromises. So regardless of any of that, what the fuck? Okay, so that's why I quit veganism. So I think I only did it for a couple weeks. I didn't really. Gave it like the college dropout try. I didn't give it the college try. I gave it the dropout try. So then I move on to the logical next step from veganism to keto. Okay, so I was actually introduced to the understanding of it from a Instagram ad for a thing called carb cycling. And so I watched this like 40-minute YouTube demo that was advertised to me on Instagram through my feed about how, if you, how did it go? You like ate this much carbs on day one, you like halved that, or like even to a third of that amount on day two, and on the third day you have 0 carbs, like none at all. And every 3 days you do that. You repeat and repeat. And so I tried doing that for a couple weeks, and the carb days, and you're supposed to correlate it with certain types of exercises. I can't remember, just different levels of intensity. I was trying to do that, and I was brought through this torture on the 0 carb days. I learned something about myself. I remember, so my carb days, like a normal diet, 0 carb days, it was like inconvenient. I couldn't just eat whatever I wanted, but not that bad. On the 0 carb days, I just remember eating 6 hamburger patties and a ton of cheese. I'm guzzling protein and fat, and I had this sensation in my stomach of, pardon me, never feeling full. I had tons of food in my stomach. I'm drinking tons of water. I'm not having sugar, not having any carbs at all. It's just meat and fat. And that feeling, I'll never forget it. How intense it was the first day. So I did the first cycle, and it was just unbearable. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't read. I couldn't watch a movie. I couldn't talk to my girlfriend. Couldn't talk to my parents. Couldn't talk to my friends. I was just focused on that. I could not do anything. And at least I had the next carb cycle to look forward to. So I just didn't sleep until the next day. I got up at a reasonable time, 6 or 7 in the morning. I'm time to eat, time to go nuts. Then I felt better. Okay, so the second carb cycle begins. That day with carbs went fine. The day with the diminished amount of carbs went fine. Again, the 0 carb day, fucking torture. I did this for 2 or 3 weeks, and I could not get used to it. It's just a whole day was consumed to eating as much as I could because I was insatiable. But I was insatiable. I never felt full. I was eating and eating and eating and eating, and I was feeling sick and hungry. And so I was this is not sustainable. Those 2 good days for every one horrifically bad day doesn't work. So then I try I don't try. So I kind of step away from that, step away from diets and stuff. Read more about low carb. I'm there's a lot of information about, out of the 3 macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs, that carbohydrates are the things that your body accesses to put body fat on you. So if you want to get rid of body fat, don't ingest the thing that puts on body fat. And that I realized that with the carb cycling thing. I'm no, my body really wants carbs. The fat and protein does not cut it. And so now we're at keto. So keto is my day 3 of carb cycling, except forever. And the idea is, without that macronutrient of carbohydrates, your body enters ketosis. So it's a process where your body thinks it's in famine mode. So, okay, you're a monkey. You're hanging out in the forest, and you love eating figs. You live in a fig forest. And yum, 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 fig. You get a little fat fucking belly, right? You eat the figs because they're sugary, sweet, delicious, and you like to take naps after. You're binging on figs. But then a little disease rolls through, and all the fig trees die. Okay, there's no fig trees, no food anywhere. Okay, what happens? You have nothing to eat. You can maybe find a couple bugs here and there, but your main diet of those sweet, delicious, carb-rich figs are like completely gone. But you put on all this fat, your body after a couple of days is like, okay, famine. It's not entirely uncommon. Disease happens, maybe a fire hits, who knows. You need to not burn through all the food that you're ingesting in your gut. You need that for just, whatever. Cell replenishment, your muscles and your blood and stuff like that, for just general function stuff. For energy to survive, to move, to get those things, we need to burn the fat that you've stored. So you're in ketosis. And without those carbs, those juicy, rich figs, you're in ketosis and you burn all that body fat. And the idea that your monkey body is going through is that by the time you burn all that body fat, maybe you've moved to a new place that has mangoes or another fig forest that the disease hasn't touched. Your body looks at the world through carbohydrates. Now, you can get big and strong with protein. Your cells are super healthy and jacked. With fat, you have a lot of, I don't know what fat does. But carbohydrates, your body's like, this is the long game. You need to put as much of that shit on you as possible, because if something bad happens, it's literally insurance, like physical insurance, where you need that energy to get you to the thing that'll make you survive longer. And, presumably to mate and whatever, raise your young so that they can reproduce. Your body says, get as fat as you possibly can. Now, in nature, carbohydrates are actually really, really hard to find. When it comes to fruit blooms like once a year. I mean, like in tropical areas, it can bloom more. But, you're looking at places that have winter. Fruit's only coming for a brief time. And it goes bad. You have to eat as much as you fucking can, right? And you want to get fat. And you look at cultures all around the world, cultures that live in a place that have winter, there's always like a fall festival where you go nuts. Like Oktoberfest in Germany is a big one. What do you do at Oktoberfest? You eat fucking pretzels and bread and drink beer. All carb-loaded things. It's a thing that makes sense. Before the winter, when you don't have food, when all this shit goes bad, and there's not even an option to get it, you just have the stores on you to survive, right? Maybe you can find a cow to milk, or go to the sea and find a oyster, survive until the next summer, and then you can go again. And that worked pretty well. That works in all animals. Just eat as much as you can. It worked until humans developed agriculture and later industrialization, where we've just made the most carb-dense food you could possibly fucking muster. And not only make it that you can make it easily, you can make it cheaply. Think about it. You go to a grocery store, go to a convenience store. The cheapest food is the most carb-dense food. Now, in the war on fat and obesity, our language has decided to call it junk food. But personally, I don't think that's a fair way to describe the food. It's junk in that it's devoid of other nutrients, but more so that it's an excess of what we need. Like pizza is, there's Papa John's pizza, fatty, carby, highly processed, very salty, and they definitely put sugar in their sauce. This is actually an incredibly nutrient-dense food. 100 years ago, buddy, even 75 years ago, you wouldn't find food this healthy. If you could give this food to people, they would be better workers. They would not get sick as often. This is good food, okay? We're lying to ourselves. It's propaganda if we say this is not good for you. It's just that when you fucking go like this is when it's not good for you. I'm going to have another bite of this because it's tasty. Some wobbly pop. Can't even remember what I was talking about. Okay. Right. Okay. So we're monkeys. We want to get as much as we possibly can. You're on the savannah. You're a human with a spear. You're trying to find a fucking antelope. Maybe you find a root vegetable and you get lots of carbs that way. You find some fruit, you get lots of carbs that way, but generally you're eating meat or eating leaves or fish or something like that. It's hard to find that shit in the wild. We have made it available so abundantly, so crazy abundantly. We haven't been able to evolve to shut that thing off in our head because our head is still saying like, hey, a famine can happen at any time, which arguably is still true. Many generations have not been in that position, at least in the Western world. Okay, not all humans are like free from famine, and look at the news, man. Maybe we can go through another one. Maybe this is the last pizza I have ever, or for a while. Anyway, so our brain just is like constantly like, I don't care if this carb meal is like 30,000 times more carb rich than any amount of food you could find in the wild. I don't care if it's way excessively too much. You need to eat all of that shit because you might fucking die if a famine occurs. If something happens to your food source, you might fucking die. So get that shit on you. And that's why people get fat, where your body is just like, hey, it's time to eat. And I know for breakfast you had pancakes and syrup and toast and hash browns, right? That's a lot of carbs. That's enough for a week of survival. Your body doesn't go like, okay, that's reasonable. It goes, okay, for lunch you need burgers and fries, baby. You need a Dr. Pepper. You need a fucking go for the moon, baby. For supper, let's hit up the spaghetti shop. Let's get some garlic bread with it. Mozzarella sticks with breaded deep fried mozzarella, whatever. Like, our mind just won't stop at that. You might feel full and be like, oh, I can't physically eat anymore. But by the next time you're hungry, it's not like you've had your carbs for the day. You're not hungry for anything else. Your body's like, let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. McDonald's, fucking Wendy's, fucking Papa John's, Domino's, Taco Bell. Let's go. It's always on that shit. The most easiest, readily available. Kit Kats, fucking Snickers. Let's Coca-Cola, beer, wine, sugar, carb, fiber. And so keto is there's a little rant. The keto diet is introducing the conditions of famine to force your body to enter ketosis. So it makes sense to be perhaps the most effective way to lose body fat because you can eat all the meat you want. You could drink olive oil. You could fucking, I don't know, take a burger patty, load it, stack it up with bacon, and put another burger patty on and eat it. You could have whatever you want. You're not getting any carbs. So your body's like, bitch, let's go. Famine. You're not eating anything, baby. You're in a famine. Makes sense, and that's why it's popular. You're going to lose your body fat. The problem is that the second you introduce carbs in a significant manner, say you go to your boss's birthday and you want to impress him and he offers you a slice of cake with buttercream frosting. Oh man, I gotta eat this. Gotta eat this or my boss will not give me that promotion or raise. Or say you have a new girlfriend and their parents make you a thing and they're pretty critical. They're like, we cook lasagna in this house, son. Sit down. Have your lasagna. And if you don't like it, you've offended the missus over here. Gotta eat that lasagna. Or say, you're coming home from vacation and your plane crashes and you're in the ocean. And all you have, you're in an airplane with people coming back from vacation and a bunch of Lay's potato chips. That's the only thing you can eat. You don't have a choice. Guess what you're doing? You're leaving ketosis. And when you leave ketosis, your body is like, let's get that shit back, motherfucker. Let's go. And so it sees carbs as like, all this. Don't burn any of this in regular function, baby. We're replenishing the fat store, baby. Let's go. So, I'm not a scientist. I haven't done the test myself. I never went on keto. But based on people's discussion of their time with keto, is that if you do not commit basically forever, it's pretty fucking easy to gain all the weight back, even if you have a really, really restricted and regimented diet. If you incorporate carbs, your body is like, we knew where we were. You were a fat piece of shit, but you were a fat piece of shit who's going to live through any famine. You just survived that 3-year famine you call keto. Okay? We're going to do that again. Your body's like, get that shit back up. Go, go, go. Now, I'm not going to claim to know the science. I think, from what I understand, is that fat cells store themselves with energy and calories, whatever is in a fat cell, and your body will make new fat cells if it, needs more space. It's like a big storage bin. You fill a storage bin with dumb shit, Christmas decorations, throw it over there. You still have Christmas decorations, go get another storage bin. Take the storage bin, fill it up, throw it over there. You have 10 storage bins filled with Christmas decorations. Now, you're like, I need to get rid of Christmas decorations. And you have a wall of bins. And you go through each one of those 10 bins and throw all the garbage out. Or Christmas decorations out into the garbage. You still have those 10 bins. Those fat cells are still there. They're just empty. They can be filled at any time for any reason. You cleared your clutter of Christmas supplies, right? Christmas decorations. Except you've now just reserved the space for the next set of clutter. It's the same thing with fat. You've survived famine through keto. You quit keto because you're cured and you're skinny. You're a skinny, beautiful legend now. Pardon me. But the fat cells are still there, and your body still is like, let's go. Let's get these fat cells filled, baby. We need to fill this shit up. So keto didn't make much sense to me. I'm going to have a bite. Now we're going to move on to the next part of the story. Fuck. This is quite a cheat meal. I'm not eating this as fast as I thought I would. Well. I'm going to have one of these. I hyped up the garlic knots before. They're a little cold now. But this shit slaps, bro. Oh, garlicky butter. Can't see it. It's good. Gonna knock over my computer. It's so good. Don't worry. If you like eating, at the end of this, I'm just gonna eat and you can watch me eat. Okay. My referral to the nutritional nurse finally comes, and I go to meet her. And I am hoping for, I was told by the doctor, she's going to give me a medical option, like a medicinal option. And I was like, oh God, please let it just be a fucking pill I take that I don't have to adjust anything. And it's a magic pill. That's what I want. Well, This fucking bitch tells me exactly the thing I don't want to hear. That while science is still, hasn't fully decided, the thing that makes the most sense is this idea about carbohydrates. So if you want to lose fat, reduce your carbohydrates. However, the medical establishment also notes that, keto's not a very effective long-term solution. We've seen this. The stuff you've seen online, that's just pretty accurate. It's hard to maintain after you've done keto, the keto thing. Certainly people have done it, and I don't mean to claim otherwise. So she gives me this fucking horrendous sheet that's the thing of nightmares for a fat fuck like me who loves to just eat a whole pizza and drink a fucking 3 gallons of beer. Yeah, all blown out. You can't see it. Here's your portions of carbohydrates. 1 slice of bread. 1/4 of a bagel. Fucking 7 soda crackers. 1/12 of a piece of pizza. My pizza's cut into 6, so half of one of the 2 pieces I've already eaten. That's a portion for a meal if you're gonna have 3 meals. And then she's like, baby, you gotta just go fucking ape on protein and fats. So, literally, it's unlimited non-starchy vegetables. Lettuce, cucumbers, carrots, eggplant, spinach, cabbage, asparagus, the green stuff. The green vegetables. And I guess also carrots, which I thought were pretty starchy. I'm just noticing that now. Meats, fish, little monkey, go nuts. You know what's a new banana? A fucking salmon. Go nuts. Eat manja. And then lean meat. Obviously, they're chicken's probably better than pork because you don't want to have too much fat for your blood, your cholesterol. But as you can't see, I can see, and I'm going to tell to you, a carbohydrate, even fruit are carbohydrates because they have sugar. 1 cup of blueberries is your portion of carbohydrates. Okay? Half a cup of corn, yogurt that has sugar added, popcorn, sugary drinks, peaches, kiwis, yam, squash, potato, peas, all that. They have the portion amount you need. This one, it's non-starchy vegetables. Fucking hitter, bitch. Protein. Have 1,000,000 eggs. Have a guzzle cheese, man. Go crazy. Have a whole cow. Eat a cow. That's fine. Just have half a cup of potatoes with it, for your carbs. And same with fats. Peanut butter, olive oil, lard, whatever. So she's like, that's the ideal diet. Is each meal is this portion controlled amount of carbohydrates. And then, go nuts for the other 2 macros, fat and protein. And so I told her, hey, I tried doing something like that, and it was unbearable. I couldn't live my life like that. I notice a physiological difference in me when I lower my carb intake, and it sucks. She's like, okay, we could try and help with that. We got 4 drug options we can choose from. So, just as a caveat here, I chose one of these options. I'm going to discuss it. I might even research it. Maybe I'll do this later, though. I was given 4 options. I don't know how effective any of them are. I've been a little disillusioned. I thought it was the one I chose was really effective. I know other people who've done other of these options to no avail. I think the medical aspect the medicinal aspect is not good. Good options here. There's room for improvement. I would say, though, as simple-minded monkeys, maybe going with one of these for a little bit while you get your bearings can make your dumb mind think, hey, the medicine's working. That's what kind of worked with me. I'll explain later. So, man, I don't even know if I don't want to recommend this shit to you. I don't, because 2 of these are really serious. One of them I know is very addictive. So I don't want to get, I don't know if anyone's watching. I have no commenters, so such a lonely day. And it's mine. Yeah, I'm still on the fence. You know, maybe in another video I'll discuss it. I don't want to give people ideas and think that's the answer, because there's no answer. Anyway, she said, you got to go on this medication. This medication you got to go on. She gave me the 4 options. Best one for you is this one. This one is an injection. You have to inject yourself every week. And I was kind of scared. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. And she's like, well, okay. I'm going to give you the prescription, and then you can decide whether or not you go for it. But this is the diet that you got to follow if you want to lose body fat. That's like the strategy that I have my education in. That's the way we're going forward. This is how we do it. So I was like, okay. And so I tried for a week, and lo and behold, the exact same problem I had when carb cycling. Every fucking day. Even I think the parameter is like 50 grams of carb per meal. So 100 to 150 grams of carb a day is ideal based on that diet. And fucking right away, unbearable. That same insatiable stomach pain, where it's not quite hunger, but it's very, very similar to feeling hungry. And no matter how much I ate, I wouldn't feel better. And so I did like a week of it. I was like, not working. I feel like all I thought about, I couldn't be professional at work. Like I could get my shit done, but I just couldn't be like forward thinking. I couldn't be problem solving. I was just distant with my girlfriend. I was not wanting to be with my friends. I was at home. I'm just thinking about food, just thinking about it all day, every waking hour. I'm struggling to sleep. So go to her or take that prescription, and I get it, and I inject it, and I'm like. So the idea of the injection I have, I'm not going to name the drug, is that it's creates a hormone that reduces it's a chemical that creates a hormone that makes you feel full. Okay, so when you eat the carbs and your body's like, hey, you got the carbs, you can stop now until later, you gluttonous fuck. You know, that part of your brain, this is supposed to trick that. So I did it and did fine. After like 2 weeks of that, I started feeling better, and my regimen for this drug increased the amount. Now this drug was not covered by my thing, because most fat loss and weight loss options are not covered by insurance, or depends on your insurance. Where I am, it's not covered, so I have to pay out of pocket, and it was like, for one tube of this injectable that I need every month, it's like $200-$300. So it was expensive. I'm doing that, but I'm really successful, and you know, I'm feeling good. Or I was feeling really, really good. I was exercising. I was doing all sorts of creative projects. I was fine at work. Got a little upgrade at work. You know, I was doing really good. And then there was a personal tragedy, and I was suddenly required to travel back and forth, often a great distance, which made those traveling days difficult to manage my dietary needs. And the place where I was going, I had to stay with people who were making food for a lot of other people, and they couldn't necessarily accommodate my dietary needs, the amount of protein I would need, the amount of fat I would need. So I made a really quick judgment call. I'm like, hey, I can't keep it up. I have to stop my diet. And I learned really quickly that the carbohydrates had an effect on me. Like when I metabolize carbohydrates, I get really, really tired. I've noticed it in the past. I just never put 2 and 2 together. I eat a whole pizza. Suddenly I'm exhausted. What's that? Well, it's because carbohydrate is turned into sugar, which is stored in body fat. You know, that's not medically accurate. Like That's my monkey brain trying to rationalize it. Your body turns carbohydrates into glucose or whatever, sugar of some kind, and you need insulin to take it, and you sugar crash, right? Even if it's bread, even if there's no sugar in it, you will sugar crash if you have a lot of carbs. So I started noticing that the days I had a lot of carbs were sluggish days where I'm not creative or effective at work or effective at my hobbies or anything like that. So just out of preference, I'm not like regimented, but I would meal prep for work, and I'd still do like the 1/3 a cup of rice kind of thing, and I felt great. I felt full at work and all this. And so this happened in November. Come December, holiday season, what's the fucking point of restricting yourself, right? You got work parties, you got home, like personal parties, you got New Year's, you got all this shit. What? I'm not going to restrict myself, so fine. Whatever that goes. So more stuff happens with that tragedy. Come the end of January, things settle down. I'm like, okay, let's get back to it. But some expenses have come up, and I can't pay for this injection that I need to make myself feel full. And yeah, I can't pay out of pocket, or it's not I could have, but it wasn't financially reasonable. There's other things I wanted more, and frankly, I felt really confident. It came after the first couple weeks of a struggle doing this diet with this injection. It became very, very easy of monitoring your carbohydrate intake and just letting yourself go nuts with fats and protein. And there's a lot of one of the benefits of that is there's a lot of room to like make foods you like you can make interesting compromises and enjoy the things you want. Anyway, so I go back to it without this injection, and you know what? Surprise, surprise, baby. I don't have a problem with it. I can just go about my life. Fucking eating low carb, high protein. I think about food, but it's not like super bad. And then the one hurdle I had is I injured my knee when I was exercising. I was really hitting the treadmill really, really hard. That's my primary exercise is cardio. My goal is fat loss. I eventually would like to be in a position to do intense resistance training to build up my muscles, but that needs a lot of fuel for your body. It's not reconcilable. The fat loss doesn't seem to be super reconcilable with muscle gain. I think in the next couple months I'd be in a position to do that, but for now I'm just gonna do cardio. I hurt my knee doing too much cardio. I was like running every single day. I'm a fat guy anyway, bad knees, and then I'm like at work. Sometimes I'm physical, carrying things up and down the stairs. Just an old knee issue, and so I was out of commission for a month, and now I'm feeling better. I'm back at it. So I'm at like 2 or 3 weeks in, and I got this new fucking gaming rig, and I was like, let's start streaming. I'm gonna try and stream regularly, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna have a cheat meal every week, and my normal go-to is just to like fucking, I don't know, like crawl in a corner like Gollum with my food, watching TV. Like, this is me on my normal cheat days, just with my wobbly pop and beer. I'm like, I was like, well, why don't I turn my cheat days into something positive? Where instead of so I guess I should explain why, if I'm eating clean and sticking to a diet, why am I having cheat days? Because the monkey brain, we want to be gluts. We want the opportunity to do it. And in all the other diets I've ever done, when you restrict yourself fully, you set yourself up for failure. Humans are instinctive animals. We are capable of thought and reason. We can theoretically discipline ourselves in many aspects of our lives and to live lifestyles that aren't necessarily fully natural. But we're talking about food here, something super, super primal. Why are we going to restrict that? You're allowed to eat. You're allowed to go fucking nuts once in a while. So I never even had a hard time with it. Like I don't feel guilty about doing my cheat meals. sometimes my cheat meal turns into a cheat day. I got a lot of food. I'm not going to be able to eat it all in one sitting. But I'm letting myself have something I want. And I want lots of carbs. I want garlic knots. I want pizza. I want wobbly pop. I want chocolate, sugar, carbs. So I'm not. I don't feel bad about it, and I can share myself doing it while I think about my current health. So now that brings us to this day and age, where like this last week went really well. Did a good amount of meal prepping. Started exercise. I'm taking it real slow. I really don't want to injure my knee again, but picking it up slowly, being more physically active in my like daily routine. So now that the weather's nice, I'm mowing the lawn, I'm doing more cleaning. It's nice because before I was like really struggling. Like my knee was injured, and I was just like, I don't worry about my diet. I'm in pain. I'm working. I need to just whatever. So I was eating whatever for my day-to-day diet, and I just didn't have the energy to do things. Normally I can do like 5 things in a day, for example, and I could do like 2. So it was like go to work and then like do the dishes, or like go to work and play some music, or go to work and watch a movie, and then I have to go to bed. On my low carb diet, I can like shit, what did a day look like this week? Clean, music, edit, video games, visit family. There was a day I did all that before work. I worked in the evening, so I did that and a full shift at work. Like exercise, read, garden. Went to the store. That was another day before work. You know, the energy's there. So I don't feel bad about this meal. This pizza, this yummy, yummy pizza. It's actually kind of disappointing. It's cold now, but whatever. So that's what Munchies with Punkies is going to be meant for. I think I might like pick topics on some health related thing, maybe comment on a craze or something like that while I eat a tasty meal. Maybe I can, if anyone ever watches this, can take recommendations on what my cheat meal could be. Maybe it could turn into a... God, my brain's so fucking stupid. I want to say mukbang, where I go like... You know, I could do that. I have another mic I could use instead of this. Anyway, whenever I say mukbang, my brain thinks... I don't even know if I should say it. That'll be for next episode. So now I'm done talking. We get to hang out. We get to eat. Let's look at the news while I eat. Heading over to Big Black Cock News, the best news source from England. Oh, Australia has a left-wing government now. That's interesting. Australia politically is quite fascinating because Canada is a similar economy, where it's a resource-rich country next to like a major economic force. For Canada, it's the United States. There's a lot of cultural and political like overlay, so things go really smoothly. Australia is similar, except its giant like economic hegemon is Australia's big hegemon is China. I think I fucked that up. So things are tense over there. They have to sell energy, often coal, to the Chinese because that's the best market for it. And there's a whole climate thing there. There's a ton of Chinese economic influence in Australia that I think is like not super welcome. Censorship and stuff like that. So there's been a long right-wing government in Australia. It's obviously going to be like a little more business focused. And they tried to pretend to be, as far as I know, critical of the Chinese regime, but also they're deferring to the Australian businesses who are like, we want the opportunities in China. So now that we have a left-wing government in, maybe we're going to see a little more hostility, but that's never a guarantee for these politics. Let's look up the monkey virus, since we're talking about monkeys. Monkeypox. Is it time to worry or one to ignore? Oh, here's a better article. What is monkeypox, and how do you catch it? You know what? This story's would go good with some butter sauce. I'm dipping the crust in butter sauce because this shit's dry now. Let it go for too long. Fuck. Spilled on my super elite gaming setup. Okay. I need to do something about these headphones. Fucking stupid. Okay. Monkeypox. That shit's present in the UK, US, Canada, Australia. How common is monkeypox? Monkeypox is caused by the monkeypox virus, a member of the same family as smallpox, although it is much less severe and infection rates are much lower. It occurs mostly in remote parts of Central and West Africa, typically near tropical forests. There are two main strains of the virus, the West African and Central African strains. Two of the infected patients in the UK traveled from Nigeria, so it's likely that they are suffering from the West African strain, which is generally mild. I'm assuming it's more mild of the two. West African is less intense than the Central. More recent cases do not have any known links with one another or any history of travel. Interesting. It's spreading in the UK among the community, but they don't know what's up. That's interesting. Symptoms. What are the symptoms? Fever, headache, swelling, back pain, aching muscles. Once the fever breaks, a rash can develop, often beginning in the face and then spreading to other parts of the body, most commonly the palms of the hand and soles of the feet. Oh, that would blow, bro. The rash, which can be extremely itchy or painful, changes and goes through different stages before finally forming a scab, which later falls off. The lesions can cause scarring. And the infection will clear up on its own, and it tends to last between 2 and 3 weeks. Monkeypox can be spread when someone is in close contact with an infected person. The virus can enter the body through broken skin, the respiratory tract, or through the eyes, nose, or mouth. So with those symptoms, we have fever, headache, swelling, back pain, and aching muscles. And then the lesions or the rash on the hand that can lead to lesions. So it's not transmitting through coughing or sneezing, because that's not causing you to do that. I guess you can have a cough independently from like hay fever if you have monkeypox and you can spread it, but it has not been previously described as a STI, but it can be passed on by direct contact during sex. It can spread through animals by infected animals, so monkeys, rats, and squirrels, or a virus-contaminated object, including bedding and clothing. How dangerous is it? Most cases of the virus are mild, sometimes resembling chickenpox, and clear up on their own. Monkeypox can be more severe, however, and has been reported to have caused deaths in West Africa. Okay, it doesn't seem that bad. This might seem like a little bit of hype. Yeah, it says she can't really control. The treatment is like it's on its own. There's smallpox vaccines that can like reduce your chance of getting monkeypox. However, it just goes away on its own. Yeah, I don't know. Should we really be afraid of this? Do we need another pandemic, guys? I was scared for a minute, but that article really made me like not give a shit. Oh, hey, Harry Styles released a new album. I actually listened to it last night. Not like a super big Harry Styles fan. I was just with someone who really likes it, and that shit slap, man. Harry Styles is really good. I've seen lots of videos of him like performing live, and like he's awesome. Like I just really like that guy. He's a likable dude. Songs are a little bit, whatever, but they're really well constructed. They're catchy, they're fun. There's a lot of emotional climaxes and stuff. Not necessarily the same like pop dribble that you get. I'm gonna rip this shit off my fucking... It's getting dangerous, bro. We eating over this. Harry's House. That's what the album's called. Canada to ban Huawei and ZTE from its 5G networks. That's a long time coming. There's a intelligence community called the Five Eyes, which is basically the major Anglo portions of the world: the UK, US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. We have a security intelligence thing called the Five Eyes, and a few years ago they're like, yeah, we can't trust Chinese companies. They're putting in backdoors for the CCP that they use for intelligence gathering. It's not safe for our civilians or for our security forces. Canada was on the fence because they had actually the CFO of Huawei, Meng Wanzhou, under house arrest. They had her under house arrest because the United States was like, they had an extradition order or some shit where they're like, Canada, you're legally obligated to arrest this person when we say it's time to arrest. And Canada's like, well, ride or die, bitch. America number one. And they arrested her. And at the time, it was Donald Trump who was the president. He was in a weird moment of pissing off the Chinese and creating issues with business. And he's like, I don't want Meng Wanzhou. That'll just piss off the Chinese. That'll fuck up our business opportunities. And Canada's like, but we are legally obligated to arrest her and send her to you. So could you please take her? And Donald Trump is like, nah, bitch. And so China's like, hey, Canada, guess what, bitch? Don't arrest our people. Canada's like, and China's like, guess what? Your business is going to suffer. So Canada had her for like 2 or 3 years, more maybe. And they finally, I don't know, they let her go back to China or some shit. That was disappointing of America to back down like that, to treat their allies in such a way. But anyway, part of that whole thing was the Five Eyes were like, we need to ban Huawei. And China's like, Canada, if you do that, we're gonna like nuke your fucking whatever industry and trade you have with us. Canada's like, we can't do that. So they put it off until this trade deal now, or so they traded Mang for some other Canadians that were held hostage by China. So now that that's over with, Canada's like, okay, fuck China, let's go, bitch. My energy is crashing from all these carbs. I wanna be more entertaining, but I don't think it's happening. Maybe I should sign off. I wanted to eat this whole pizza in front of you, like be like a really disgusting person. But hey, we got time, right? Every week we're doing a cheat meal. So I guess join me for that. Cheers, mates. Cheers, me hearties, to a cheat meal well cheated. To a cheat meal well mealed. Maybe for the next one, if anyone's ever interested, we could eat it all together. I'll time it out so we can all have a great, good, fun meal. Have a feast. An online feast. Anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much. I know no one watched this while I was streaming, but if you stumble across this video and enjoy listening to me burp and slurp down cold pizza, thank you. You're great. And I guess maybe like and subscribe. I guess people do that. No one's watching, but if you liked me rambling about fucking nothing, I'm gonna do it a lot more now. I'm gonna do it regularly, bitch. So okay, signing off. I'm gonna do some video game stuff, some playthroughs. Gonna make another video about a book review at some point. I can talk more about that in that video, though. So yeah, I think I might stream tomorrow if anyone wants to tune in for that. Alright. This has been Munchies with Punkey. We've been munching, we've been punkying, we've been drinking wobbly pop, guys. We've been going nuts. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. The fuck. See you later. Thanks for watching. See you later. All right.